Hey there, guys. Short video, just going to cover a few simple topics, just like meals, really. So, I've got a competition coming up, as many of you are aware, and the weight class that I'm competing in is the 110 kilo class. At the moment, I'm sitting at about 112 to 113 kilos in the morning. It's dropping down slowly. For me, cutting weight, or if you're trying to bulk up, whatever, I try and hit first of all 100 grams of protein in the first meal that I have of the day. Now, I'm not someone that typically has breakfast. I don't wake up and feel overly hungry. For me, the first thing that I have in the morning is normally a cup of coffee or two. So it really depends on the individual. For me, I just don't get hungry in the morning. My first main meal is then around 10:30, and that's when I aim to hit 100 grams of protein in that meal. So of that meal, to give a quick run through, I have a liter of the high protein milk, so that's got 60 grams of protein, basically 700 calories. Then I'll either, at the moment, I've changed it, I'm having one of the big cans of salmon. I'm just switching out tuna at the moment, going with salmon. 30 grams of protein in that, so I'm at 90. And then, I've got some walnuts or some macadamia nuts, whatever, just to hit that extra 10 grams. Now, if you're using protein powder, you could do that, hit 60 grams in a shake and then have, some food to go with it. For me, if I have that 100 grams at the moment, regardless of what happens for the rest of the day, I've got a decent amount of protein already consumed, and it blunts my appetite. So it's really good if I'm trying to, cut weight, or if I'm trying to bulk up. It means, the quality of food that I have in the next meals can be higher quality. I just have to be smart with how I get the calories in. Now, if you're bulking up and, you're finding 100 grams of protein is killing your appetite too much, you just need to think of foods that are really, really high calorie, don't take up a lot of volume, have a good nutritional value to go with it. So an example would be, let's pick a really example of really, really high calorie. That would be like, say, for instance, some of the olive oils that have the different spices in. A shot of olive oil, 30 mils, you're looking at 240-ish calories. If you've got lamb, if you're having lamb or whatever, bread, I'm going to say more the sourdough. If you cut it into strips, you can dip the sourdough into the olive oil, or you can put it over some of the lamb. It brings the total calories up really easily. It tastes nice. Add a bit of the Himalayan rock salt, stuff like that. And it's really easy to get calories in, if you need to. At the moment, I'm cutting, so I'm just having that 100 grams of protein sort of in the morning. Lunch, I'm pretty much going without. I'm just trying to crash the calories at the moment. Just, I've got to get into this weight class. I don't care if I'm a little bit glycogen depleted. Strength as a whole is holding well, making this video Sunday evening. So, tomorrow being Monday, I've got heavy bench and heavy squats. Weight management ideally should be done more in the off season. For me, it was sort of like, do I want to do nationals this year? It's like, yeah, I actually do. So I'm going to have to do a competition and qualify. I don't want to go on the 125, so I'm in the 110s. Now, when it comes to dieting down as well, I'd rather crash calories for a few days, drop a kilo or two, and then the rest be water weight. After this competition, I'm going to go with some of the fasts. I'm actually going to try a 100-hour fast, so 400 bit days, based, off 3,500 to 4,000 calories a day. That's what I eat. I'd lose anywhere from 2 to 2.5 kilos by doing that. So, that's if it was all body fat. There's going to be a huge drop in terms of water weight and glycogen, stuff like that. But for the most part, I can count on after I've eaten again, give it a week or two, my body weight should still be down by about 2 or so kilos. If I can repeat that process twice, I'm down 4 kilos, weight management's been taken care of, and I can eat normally. I really don't like dieting down over a long period of time. I just find it ruins my training too much. I'd rather be strict for 2 days and eat nothing, or just crash calories, to 1,000 and just, have the 100 grams in the morning of protein and just be content. But yeah, getting back to the rest of my meals at the moment. So as I said, I'm hitting the 100 grams of protein in the morning. Lunch today, I just didn't have. This evening, having some of the lamb. I bought one of those butterflied lambs, slow cooked it. It's really quite nice. It's marinated and the rest of it. But yeah, 500 grams of that. So it's just protein, fat, carbs tonight. I'm just going to have probably 2 apples and cut it there. Like, I don't care if my strength's down a little bit in tomorrow for training, but as a whole, only a day of really hard dieting down. It's not going to have too much of an impact. But yeah, typically, going back to what I said, 100 grams in the morning. Lunch, if I'm having lunch, it will sort of be whatever I had the evening before. So we always have some sort of like meat and veggie for dinner, and we always put a little bit of side, for the next day. Means I have something for lunch. Means the missus has something to take to work. It's just reduces the amount of junk food that you eat, and then in the evening again, meat of some sort. It could be chicken and rice. It could be the lamb that I've slow cooked with the roast vegetables. It could be pork roast is another one we do a fair bit, or pulled pork. If we're really, really time poor, we'll just, grab one of those lasagnas and stick that, in the oven, do that. But then in terms of meat, would either do some chicken skewers, or they've got the, I think they're called kofta sticks. It's like the lamb sort of version. Regardless, there's always going to be some sort of meat that goes with the meal. Just brings the protein up. Probably hitting, I stopped counting protein when I hit sort of that 200 grams in a day. I don't try and go too much past that, but look, if I got stuck and I only had the 100 grams in the morning, when the evening comes, if I need to drink another litre of the high protein milk to get another 60 grams and eat another can of the salmon, I'll do it. Like, it doesn't faze me. That's another 90 grams there. So 190 grams of protein in a day, it's easy. It's just coming down to having a few staples that you can reliably count upon. If you don't like fish, then another alternative that's still high in protein and not as bland is the chicken thighs. Chicken breast, I've had enough of that. Like, in my lifetime, if I never ate it again, I wouldn't miss it. The chicken thighs are much nicer. You can just marinate them, cook them up, and then, if you need to put them in little Ziploc sandwich bags, do that. You can freeze a whole bunch of them, and then when you need them, just put them in the fridge the day before. That way, you've got another quality protein source that you can reliably count on. You can weigh it out if you want to be really particular, and make that your 100 grams of protein first thing in the morning. At least with those, with all the different marinades you've got, and adding, you can add some rosemary or just add whatever herbs that you want as well. You're going to have something that tastes much nicer. But yeah, as I said, chicken breast, completely over it. Chicken schnitzels is another one. Up the road, we get a kilo of them for something like $20, and they're just in strips. You do that in the fry pan with some olive oil, throw in some mushrooms and some other, capsicum, whatever you want. You've got a pretty decent meal without really trying. Takes next to nothing to cook up. And the other one, if you're just trying to hit a decent amount of protein again, if you don't like meat whatsoever, I guess you could just rely on, either eggs and have a lot of scrambled eggs and go with the protein powder. That wouldn't be preferred for me. As I said, like, I prefer red meat or having some form of red meat. So I'm going with, at the moment, the butterflied lamb, and the other one that I'm going with is the silverside. I just put that in the slow cooker. I did 2 kilos of that today. No intention of having it this evening for dinner, but then I just cut it up into thin slices, put it in the sandwich bags, sort of in 300 gram lots. And I know I've got about, basically, once it's cooked, because it loses a little bit of water weight, if you base, red meat being 20 grams of protein per 100 grams, that's raw, cooked. I sort of bump it up to that 25 mark. So I can sort of go, I've got anywhere from 60 to 75 grams of protein in that 300 gram sandwich bag, and I don't have to try. Like, I just know it's there. The additional ones I just throw in the freezer. And the corned beef, it's only like $9 a kilo. So yeah, really, really cheap protein source, works really well. That's it. that's it for this video anyway. Just thought I'd put it out there. If you guys have questions, feel free to comment below. The videos I put together are quite raw. I don't try to add much into it in terms of editing. Just, it kills time, and at the moment I don't have a lot of it, but the kids are out at the moment, the missus is out. Thought I'd put something together. I always get asked for questions. So, hit like and subscribe. Have a great day wherever you are. And if you have questions, as I said, comment below.